Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball theorists. When you ask yourself what is a fallen angel, what do you think of? Is it possible for an angel like Whis to have a polar opposite? One that is born evil with a demonic heart? It only makes sense for this to be the case since we have seen this with the other gods, because the Supreme Kai's opposite is the Makaioshins, which translates into God of the Demon World. So these 10 fallen angels, as the title says, the birth of Shiokara, is a story exploring the first angel born with an evil heart and where his 9 brothers and sisters are now. When we look at the divine beings in Dragon Ball Super, and I don't mean the gods of destruction that at one time were all mortals, actual divine characters that are born as a god like the Kais. As we know, all the Kais are born from divine fruit of the Shinjin tree. Then every so often this tree has a special golden fruit that the Supreme Kai is born from. This is a really unique and divine method of how these gods are created, but in creation nothing is all good and there is balance to everything. Every so often the Kai is born with an evil heart. Immediately following this, they are banished from the Shinjin planet and sent to the Makai world or demon world. It is important to note that Zamasu wasn't a Makaioshin. He wasn't born evil. He just turned on the Kais because of his beliefs and zero mortal plan. So he was a regular Kai, but one that fell off the beaten path, doing what he felt was justice. However, the true demonic Kais that are born evil, we actually haven't seen yet in Super, and only know of them from uses in the video games and an official interview from Toriyama. Granted, when Toriyama did this interview and discussed the Makaioshins, it was before Super came out, so this entire world is still waiting to be explored, and with Super returning, it is only a matter of time. Which brings us to the angels, who are also divine characters. They are born into it just like the Kais. However, we are still waiting for an interview with Toriyama to state how the angels are actually born. We know the Grand Priest is the father to all the angels, but if he is the father, then where is the mother, you might ask? Or how was the Grand Priest born, or where or who is his father? Well, it is likely that despite being called the father of the angels, that he isn't that in the traditional sense. Like the Kais, there could also be a divine method of being born, just like the fruit of the Shinjin tree. Since we haven't seen this hidden great beyond yet that all the angels come from, which is their homeworld, we just know this great beyond is out there somewhere and likely the resting spot for all the angels from the previously erased universes, or where angels would return to if something happened to their god of destruction. Despite the specifics on how these angels are born, we can assume like everything else in the universe, there is always balance, and every so often an angel is born evil. They are corrupted and must also be banished just like the Makaioshins. Are they banished to the demon world, or are they sealed away somewhere to protect the rest of the universe from their corruption? These fallen angels would possess an amazing amount of power just like Whis and all the other angels, so something like the demon world would likely not contain them. Whis already hinted that the gods have far better methods of sealing individuals than the Mifuba when he talked of dealing with the immortal Zamasu, so why would you need this technique, and you have to ask who they would even want to use it on. It makes sense that the sealing ability is used to contain the most dangerous characters, ones that could cause the most problems in the multiverse, the fallen angels. So in a time before time, this powerful sealing technique of the gods was devised to imprison these angels born with an evil heart. This is shortly after Shiokara was born, who is the first angel with pure corruption, one that is the complete opposite of what an angel stands for, which is creation and guidance. There has to be a negative energy born that only has intentions of destruction and personal aspirations of their own power and greatness. So that way the universe is balanced. There just simply can't be good without evil. Here we are in the great beyond, and on this day a child of the Grand Priest is born, but he realizes quickly that something is off. All negative and evil intentions had been poured into this being. The Grand Priest names him Shiokara and knew that eventually this day would come, as it is the energy and life in the universe trying to balance itself. The Daishinkan doesn't hate or dislike Shiokara because it is only natural for his birth. He still looks at him as his child and part of who he is. An evil energy must be manifested at times when there is the most good in the universe. Early on, Shiokara demonstrates he is talented, powerful, and dangerous to his brothers and sisters. This is expected since so much life has been created that is good. This one angel is the embodiment of evil and has the power to balance it. the Grand Priest knows that Shiokara will only grow in power, that his ambitions and instinct will be to destroy his brothers and sisters, that his purpose will be to consume everything in his way, corrupting all life in the multiverse. So despite respecting balance and understanding that Shiokara's birth was natural, the Daishinkan must seal him in order to protect all life from his evil. We have seen a small example of the sealing technique of the gods when millions of years ago Beerus had the Old Kai sealed in the Z Sword. There, the Elder Kai remained, and it took the incredible power of a Saiyan just to lift this item. So keep in mind, the Elder Kai would have stayed sealed away there if it wasn't for someone coming along not only able to pick up the Z Sword, but break it to free him. Now the Grand Priest begins the ritual, and similar to the Z Sword, will seal Shiokara into an item, one that can't be picked up or broken. This is a seal that is far more powerful, one of an obelisk that is often represented in ancient times, one that is also in plain sight at Zeno's palace where the Grand Priest now resides. Shiokara, as I said, was the first of his children born with an evil heart. However, he does have 9 brothers and sisters that are sealed as well beside him that we can see when we look at Zeno's world from far away. Here is the permanent resting spot of all the fallen angels or ones born with an evil heart. These are the most dangerous characters in the Dragon Ball multiverse, and why their permanent resting spot is at Zeno's homeworld, so they are not disturbed and well guarded. I would love an arc going into the fallen angels at some point in Dragon Ball, and my story of Shiokara, the first angel born with an evil heart, is an idea of how this all takes place. Maybe someday Shiokara and his 9 brothers and sisters can be freed. At some point, we would need an angel-level threat that disturbs the god hierarchy, and I can't think of a better villain or antagonist to do this than Shiokara and the fallen angels. I hope everyone has had an amazing week and you enjoy the weekend. Now tell me what you think of the story of the 10 fallen angels and Shiokara. I always love to hear your theories and thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it and smash that like button. It really helps tremendously so I can keep writing theories and stories like this one. Also, don't forget to subscribe to support the channel and turn on that notification bell to keep those theories coming.